A very good morning and greetings to everyone joining us today. On behalf of the organizers, the Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment Thailand, and the Center for IMT-GT Subregional Cooperation, or CIMT, I would like to warmly welcome all speakers, distinguished guests, and participants to the IMT-GT webinar on oil spill and tarball management, sharing experiences and best practices. Today's webinar brings together experts, policymakers, enforcement agencies, researchers, and practitioners to exchange experiences and explore practical approaches in managing oil spill and tarball incidents across the subregion. As maritime activities continue to grow across our subregion, stronger cooperation and preparedness are becoming increasingly important in protecting our marine ecosystems, coastal communities, and shared waters. We certainly have a very exciting and insightful program lineup for everyone today, from regional perspectives and environmental enforcement to technical tools and country experiences. So without further delay, let us officially begin today's webinar. Ladies and gentlemen, to provide an overview of today's webinar and its objectives, it is now my pleasure to invite Mr. Amri Bukhairi Bahtiar, Director of the Center for IMT-GT Subregional Cooperation. Mr. Amri, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Alia, for the introduction. The distinguished Mr. Chirapong Kohakan, Deputy Director General of the Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment of Thailand, our esteemed speakers from Institute Technology Bandung of Indonesia, the Department of Environment, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Malaysia, the Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment Thailand, United States Coast Guard and the United States Department of Justice, honorable delegates and participants from Indonesia, Malaysia and Thailand, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to everyone. Selamat pagi, sawadee-krap. On behalf of the Center for IMT-GT Subregional Cooperation, or CIMT, it is my distinct honor to extend a most heartfelt welcome to each and every one of you to this IMT-GT webinar on oil spill and tarball management, sharing experiences and best practices. This webinar is convened with the support of the Ministry of Environment of Indonesia, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability of Malaysia, and the Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Thailand. I would also like to express our sincere appreciation to all speakers, facilitators, and participants for taking the time to join us today. Your presence demonstrates our short commitment to strengthening environmental governance and maritime sustainability across the IMT-GT subregion. Ladies and gentlemen, the IMT subregion is home to over 96 million people and encompasses some of the world's most strategically important maritime corridors. The Straits of Malacca, which carries nearly 1/4 of global seaborne trade, together with the Andaman Sea, are vital not only to regional economies, but also to global commerce and connectivity. However, with this strategic importance comes an equally immense environmental responsibility. The increasing occurrence of oil spill incidents and the persistent presence of tarballs in our maritime and coastal environments pose serious threats to our marine ecosystems, coastal livelihoods, tourism industries, and public health. These incidents are not confined by natural borders. A spill originating in one part of the Straits of Malacca can quickly affect the coastlines of neighboring countries within days. Likewise, tarballs found along our shores may originate far beyond the waters which they are discovered. This is the reality of transboundary marine pollution, and it requires a coordinated transboundary response. While Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand have each established national protocols, contingency plans, and institutional arrangements for oil spill response, the scale and complexity of these incidents demands stronger regional coordination. No single country can effectively address major transboundary marine pollution incidents in isolation. Effective response mechanisms require timely information sharing, coordinated operational procedures, compatible technical approaches, and stronger institutional collaboration. These are precisely the areas where IMTGT can provide an important platform for cooperation. In this regard, today's webinar is not merely a technical discussion. It is a platform for strengthening sub-regional collaboration among IMTGT member countries, while also drawing upon international experiences and best practices shared by our distinguished partners and speakers from the United States. Such exchanges are fully aligned with the IMTGT Implementation Blueprint 2022 to 2026, which calls for enhanced cooperation of shared natural resources and environmental protection. Addressing oil spill and Tarball management collectively is one of the most concrete and urgent expressions of that commitment. It is our shared aspiration to move together from parallel national efforts towards a more coordinated regional approach, one that strengthens preparedness, improves information sharing, support capacity building, and promotes accountability, including through the application of polluter pays principles. Ladies and gentlemen, today's program brings together an excellent panel of experts and practitioners. We will begin by hearing from our colleagues at the United States Coast Guard and the Department of Justice on the environmental crime dimensions of oil spills, particularly the importance of enforcement and accountability in deterring illegal discharges at sea. In addition, our colleagues from Thailand will share their experience in applying advanced techniques such as oil fingerprint analysis to identify pollution sources. We will also hear valuable national perspectives and lessons learned from Indonesia and Malaysia in responding to oil spill incidents within their respective jurisdictions. More importantly, today's webinar provides us with an opportunity to exchange practical experiences, identify common challenges, and explore concrete areas for future cooperation under the IMTGT framework. I encourage all participants to engage actively and openly throughout the discussions in the true spirit of partnership and mutual learning. As the Secretariat of the IMTGT, we fully are committed to supporting stronger sub-regional cooperation on environmental management and marine pollution and marine protection. We believe that knowledge-sharing initiatives such as this could ultimately contribute towards more practical and institutionalized forms of cooperation, including coordinated response mechanisms, technical collaboration, shared monitoring initiatives, and capacity building programs. The challenges before us are formidable, but they are not insurmountable. With stronger collaboration, mutual trust, and shared commitment, we can collectively strengthen the resilience and sustainability of our shared maritime environment. That today's webinar serve not only as an exchange platform, but also as a meaningful step towards deeper and more effective cooperation under IMTGT. I hope that everyone will be able to learn something new from the presentations that we have today, and I look forward to a rich and productive exchange among all participants. On behalf of CIMT, I sincerely appreciate your time, your expertise, and your unwavering dedication to the cause of environmental stewardship in our sub-region. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amri, for the introduction and for setting the stage for today's discussions. Next, to officially commence today's program, it is my pleasure to invite Mr. Jirapong Kuhakarn, Deputy Director General of the Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment, Thailand, to deliver the opening remarks. Mr. Jirapong, please welcome.
Thank you very much. เรียนผู้อำนวยการศูนย์ความร่วมมืออนุภูมิภาค IMT-GT CIMT ท่านวิทยากรท่านผู้มีเกียรติท่านผู้แทนจากหน่วยงานรวมถึงผู้เข้าร่วมการสัมมนาทั้งผู้เข้าร่วมณห้องประชุมแห่งนี้และผ่านระบบออนไลน์ทุกท่านครับผมรู้สึกยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่ได้มามีโอกาสกล่าวเปิดการสัมมนาออนไลน์เรื่องการจัดการคราบน้ำมันและก้อนน้ำมันดินการแลกเปลี่ยนประสบการณ์ในอนุภูมิภาค IMT-GT ในวันนี้ปัญหามลพิษจากน้ำมันถือเป็นสิ่งที่สำคัญข้ามพรมแดนที่สำคัญ ซึ่งส่งผลกระทบโดยตรงต่อทรัพยากรธรรมชาติและระบบนิเวศทางทะเลโดยเฉพาะในพื้นที่อนุภูมิภาค IMT-GT ซึ่งประกอบไปด้วยประเทศไทยมาเลเซียและอินโดนีเซียที่ผ่านมาเกิดเหตุการณ์น้ำมันรั่วไหลหลายครั้งก่อให้เกิดผลกระทบต่อสิ่งแวดล้อมทั้งในระดับเล็กและระดับใหญ่นอกจากนี้การจัดการเหตุน้ำมันรั่วไหลยังคงมีสารปนเปื้อนตกค้างโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งก้อนน้ำมันดินหรือทาร์บอลที่สามารถคงอยู่ในสภาพแวดล้อมเป็นระยะเวลานานส่งผลกระทบต่อระบบนิเวศทางทะเลชายฝั่งและชุมชนพื้นที่ดังนั้นการเสริมสร้างความร่วมมือในระดับภูมิภาคการพัฒนากลไกการตอบสนองร่วมกันอย่างมีประสิทธิภาพจึงเป็นสิ่งจำเป็นอย่างยิ่งในโอกาสนี้ประเทศไทยขอยืนยันเจตนารมณ์ในการทำงานร่วมกับประเทศสมาชิก IMT-GT อย่างใกล้ชิดรวมถึงความร่วมมือในกับภาคีเครือข่ายต่างๆเช่น Joint Business Council JBTC IMT-GT University Network Green City Major Council และหน่วยงานพันธมิตรด้านการพัฒนาเพื่อการร่วมกันแลกเปลี่ยนองค์ความรู้เทคโนโลยีและแนวทางนวัตกรรมด้านการจัดการสิ่งแวดล้อมและนำมาประยุกต์ใช้ให้เกิดประโยชน์ต่ออนุภูมิภาคอย่างเป็นรูปธรรมแม้ว่าประเทศสมาชิกอาเซียนรวมถึงประเทศในอนุภูมิภาค IMT-GT จะมีแผนเผชิญเหตุและมาตรการรองรับเหตุน้ำมันรั่วไหลในระดับภูมิภาคระดับประเทศอยู่แล้วแต่ยังคงมีความจำเป็นในการยกระดับความร่วมมือด้านการประสานงานการแลกเปลี่ยนข้อมูลและการพัฒนาศักยภาพอย่างต่อเนื่องเพื่อให้สามารถตอบสนองต่อเหตุการณ์มลพิษข้ามพรมแดนได้อย่างมีประสิทธิภาพลดผลกระทบต่อสิ่งแวดล้อมและเสริมสร้างความพร้อมของภูมิภาคร่วมกันในระยะยาวรวมถึงการผลักดันในการจัดทำ Regional Oil Spill Response Protocol หรือแนวทางปฏิบัติระดับภูมิภาคด้านการรับมือเหตุการณ์น้ำมันรั่วไหลเพื่อใช้เป็นกรอบความร่วมมือและแนวทางปฏิบัติร่วมกันของประเทศสมาชิกในอนาคตต่อไปการสัมมนาในวันนี้จัดขึ้นโดยมีวัตถุประสงค์สำคัญเพื่อเป็นเวทีแลกเปลี่ยนความรู้ประสบการณ์แนวทางการบริหารจัดการคราบน้ำมันและก้อนน้ำมันดินทั้งในระดับภูมิภาคระดับนานาชาติระดับประเทศ IMT-GT และประเทศพันธมิตรพร้อมนี้เวทีดังกล่าวยังเป็นก้าวแรกในการผลักดันความร่วมมือในการพัฒนาหรือแนวทางกรอบปฏิบัติความร่วมมือระดับภูมิภาคสำหรับการบริหารจัดการการตอบสนองต่อเหตุการณ์
ครับเป็นตัวแทนจากไทยออยล์นะครับพอดีอาทิตย์ที่แล้วอะครับผมไม่ได้สะดวกเข้าครับไม่แน่ใจว่า
ดินร่วมกันในอนาคตภายใต้กรอบดังกล่าวการจัดทำโปรโตคอลด้าน Oil Spill Management ร่วมกันของประเทศสมาชิก IMT-GT ผมขอบคุณท่านวิทยากรผู้ทรงคุณวุฒิทุกท่านได้แก่นายเจฟฟรีย์ อาร์เบรย์รองหัวหน้าฝ่ายกฎหมายทางทะเลและกฎหมายระหว่างประเทศหน่วยยามฝั่งสหรัฐอเมริกานายโจเซฟพ็อกจูเนียร์รักษาการหัวหน้าฝ่ายอาชญากรรมสิ่งแวดล้อมกระทรวงยุติธรรมสหรัฐอเมริกาศาสตราจารย์เอ็ดวันคาเดนากลุ่มวิจัยด้านน้ำและน้ำเสียสถาบันเทคโนโลยีบันดุงประเทศอินโดนีเซียมิสนอรินาเฟรดริกซัมบังผู้ช่วยผู้อำนวยการอาวุโสส่วนแผนเผชิญเหตุคราบน้ำมันกรมสิ่งแวดล้อมกระทรวงทรัพยากรธรรมชาติและความยั่งยืนด้านสิ่งแวดล้อมประเทศมาเลเซียที่กรุณาสละเวลาเป็นวิทยากรในการประชุมเว็บบินา on oil spill and Tarball management sharing experience in the IMT-GT subregion ในครั้งนี้ขอให้การสัมมนาในวันนี้ประสบความสำเร็จตามวัตถุประสงค์ที่ตั้งไว้ทุกประการและก่อให้เกิดความร่วมมือที่เข้มแข็งอันจะนำไปสู่การบริหารจัดการด้านมลพิษในทะเลในอนุภูมิภาค IMT-GT อย่างมีประสิทธิภาพต่อไปขอบคุณครับ
Let me translate in shortly. Director of the Center of the IMT-GT, distinguished delegate, and ladies and gentlemen, oil pollution is significant environmental concern of transboundary pollution in the especially marine ecosystem in IMT-GT subregion, especially as Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia. Oil spill incident happened several times during the oil spill management. There have happened a small scale, large scale, at the particular of the Tarball, and we need the required regional cooperation and coordinate responses. In this regard, Thailand reaffirmed to strong commitment working closely with the IMT-GT subregions and the JBC, IMT Uninet, and also the CIMT. Today, we will aim to exchange the technology, innovation approach, and environment management and apply them effective within our subregions. The key of this webinar is for the first step for sharing and finding the problem in IMT-GT subregion to facilitate the knowledge exchange, experience sharing among the IMT-GT subregion country, and also our country to develop the international and regional perspective protocol. This first step by providing the platform for participating in the country for sharing the current situation and drive the protocol coordination response in the near future. We would like to thank you, Mr. Joseph R. Bay and Ms. Joseph A. Polk, United Coast Guard, for sharing the environmental crime of United States, and also appreciate to Ms. King Dow, Director in General for subdivisions of the Pollution Control Department, and Professor Edwan Canada from Institute of the Technology Bandan, Indonesia, and Ms. Norina Frederick Sambang for Department of the Environment of Malaysia for sharing the expertise and national experience for Tarball management. I sincerely wish the webinar will be success, trust, and smoothly achieve for the need of the intent objective. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jarapong, for the insightful opening remarks and for highlighting the importance of regional cooperation in addressing marine pollution and environmental sustainability. Also, to Mr. Ratiwan, thank you for the clear translation of the remarks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed with the session, I would like to invite everyone to open their camera for us to take a short photo session, please. For the CIMT admin, I would like to ask for everyone to be seen in the screen. All right. Oh, wait, I forgot to open my own camera. All right. I would like to ask for everyone to please do the IMTGT sign. Small triangle like this. Okay, would really appreciate it if everyone opens their camera. Can we take a photo now? Give me a second, everyone. All right. So I think everyone can smile. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you. It's okay. You guys can close your camera back. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, our next session focuses on an equally important topic, which is environmental crime, oil spill. We are honored to have with us 2 distinguished speakers from the United States, Mr. Jeff R. Gray, Deputy Chief, Maritime and International Law, United States Coast Guard, and Mr. Joseph Poe, Jr., Acting Chief, Environmental Crime Section, Department of Justice, United States. They will be sharing perspectives on enforcement, legal frameworks, and approaches in addressing oil spill-related environmental crimes. Gentlemen, we look forward to your sharing. All right, I think, are the gentlemen ready or? All right, I think we'll just move on to the next session first and come back to this later on. So next, we will move to a more technical segment for today's webinar. So this next session will introduce practical tools and methodologies used in identifying the sources of oil spills and tarballs, including oil fingerprint analysis. So to deliver the presentation, we would like to welcome Ms. King Dao Intarudak, Director of Marine Pollution Subdivision, Pollution Control Department, Thailand. Ms. King Dao, the session is now yours.
Okay. Do you hear me? Good.
Yes,
Good
we can
morning.
hear you, Miss.
Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. This is my pleasure to welcome you to webinar with presentation about oil spill and tarball management with sharing knowledge experience in the IMT-GT submersion, right? Today, I am honored to present on the topic tool for identification of oil spill and tarball source in Thailand. Right. My name is Kikdao Interactive, environmentalist, senior professional level, also director of Marine Water Quality Subdivision, not pollution, water quality division, right? I work for Water Quality Management Division, Pollution Control Department, under Ministry of Resources and Environment. Yeah, in this presentation, I will share experience and approach related to the identification of oil spill and tarball source, including technical to scientific analysis and coordination mechanism that support effective marine pollution management and environmental protection in our region, right? I hope this session will be provide useful insight, encourage future collaboration among IMT-GT member countries in addressing marine pollution challenge together. Thank you very much. Let me begin my presentation, right? I will talk about problem, context, background, and case of the problem. Normally, oil spill accident, including the occurrence of the oil spills and tarballs, continue to pose significant environmental challenge in Thailand marines and coastal areas. During the periods from 2018 to 2025, a total of 138 incidents were reported as the following. From 2018, you can see we have about 7 incidents, and then 2019 about 3. But the most more accident is like 2024. We have 21 incident. So I wonder myself too why we have many incident, and also the last 20 and 25 is the last said only one incident.
ค่ะตัวแดงกับตัวแดง
Yeah.
ใช่ค่ะบีฟังออยสปิลอยู่เดี๋ยวบีเดินไปหาค่ะ
This finger indicate as increasing trend in oil spill incident, particularly during periods 20 to 25. The main case of this accident, including transportation accident, operation of errors, equipment deterioration, also illegal oil discharge into the sea. Normally, oil spill or oil slips and tarballs among coastal area affect multiple sectors and create widespread impact, including damage to the marine environment and marine resources, negative impact to tourist activities, effects on fishery and aquaculture, And the last is impact on local livelihoods and coastal community, right? Therefore, when an oil spill occurs or oil leak are detected, government agency must be able to quickly and accurately identify the source of oil. This is essential for effective response operation, legal enforcement, pollution control measure, and appropriate environmental remediation, right? And now we move to what is the problem solving approach and implementation for oil spill, right? In this petroleum biomarker have considered molecule of fossil that can be analyzed using gas chromatography, which is about technique to create a unique fingerprints of crude oil, right? These fingerprints can be used to identify the source of oil spill and highly elevated Tarball. This identification process is based on evaluation of the ratio of key biomarker, particularly stream and opacity, which provide the distinctive chemical signature and different petroleum sources, right? And also in addition, this innovation introduce a new approach by integrate artificial intelligence or AI and machine learning technology into the process of oil source identification and verification. So pollution apply to use this right now to identification oil spill when we have problem as many case now. The design and development of this innovation for identifying the source of oil spill and Tarball and related to petroleum product in Thailand are based on 3 principles. First, we use system-based problem solving, right? Second, data and science-driven approach. And the third one is digital transformation of the public sector. This is the key principle that we apply to youth. One of the key scientific foundation of this approach is the use of petroleum biomarker. Why it's also very important because this technology enhances the accuracy, speed, and efficiency of oil spill investigation by supporting the analysis of complex chemical data and improving the capacity to compare sample from unknown spill with reference petroleum database, right? Yep. Next, I move to the problem-solving approach and implementation, right? From this, innovation was developed through a user-centered approach and continuous improve process, right? Before we full implementation about biomarker or oil fingerprint, the prototype system was tested with a key issue in pilot area, especially the regional environmental officer, such as Office 13, because now we divide regional office, environmental office to 1 to 16, right? But we test in the REO 13 at Chonburi province. This pilot cover sample collection data and enter AI analysis and reports procedure, right? In addition, feeding from real case application and performance review as been continuously used to improve the database analytical function and service process, right? So we already applied to use in IEO office at Chonburi for this AI analysis, right? And next we move to how application of the work in practice to support the practical implementation. The pollution control department has undertakes several important actions. This includes many manual, right? We such as include the notification. We have the notification on guideline for identify the source of oil slick, Tarball, and related petroleum products in Thailand by year 70 and 72, right? The second item, the development of manual for sample collection and analysis to ensure the standardized operation among relevant agency.
ปิดไมค์เจ้าหน้าที่อบต.ห้วยโป่งด้วยนะคะ
Excuse me, someone already turned on the microphone. Could you please turn off it?
Yeah, can I request the
Just a second.
secretariat to mute the background noise, please? Because I think it's really disturbing the presentation. Sorry,
Okay, thank you
madam.
so much. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can the secretariat,
you. Can I
if there's
continue
any,
now?
yeah. Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay, may I continue, right? So now I go to the practical implementation about oil spill management in Thailand, right? So the first we go back again. To support the practical implementation of pollution control department and undertake several important actions such as we have the notification on guideline for identifying the source of oil, right? You can see in that photo in that slide, right? And the second, we develop the manual for sample collection and analyze to ensure the standardized operation among the relevant agency. This manual is also very important for everyone that when we have problem to collect, how to collect Tarball, how to collect the sample of oil spill when the accident occur, right? And the third one, the estimation of the laboratory for oil fingerprint is also important, right? Analyze of crude oil and related petroleum product. The fourth one, the development of an AI-based crude oil fingerprints and Tarball library for source identification and verification. So now in Thailand, we have laboratory for oil fingerprint analysis. And then we compare with AI-based crude oil fingerprint, right? Therefore, the innovation of this already applied in an actual incident involve oil spill and Tarball in Thailand, including oil spill and at offshore at Mataput Bay, right, Rayong province. This is the first, right, the first case that we apply to use when we analyze from the laboratory. The second one, leakage from oil transfer at Got Lipe, Stone Province. The last one, oil slick and Tarball among the coast of Phang and Phuket Province. The last, or not the last, Tarball found on Bang Sand Beach, right? And Wanapa Beach, Chonburi Province. Also, many cases that you can see on slide, right? The last one that we can see, oil spill during offshore cruise oil transfer and operation. Also, we use at Sealoy Art. In addition, oh, I found it. Also, the last case in Phuket is Sealoy Art, right? Petronas. This is a Brazilian flag, general cargo shipping, and that thing in the Andaman Seas near Phuket province on 7 November of 20 and 26 of this year. Until now, this problem to manage by Harbor Department, Marine Department, right? And we are one of who use oil model to help them to monitor where is oil going, right? And also REO Office 15 help us to sampling oil and Tarball from the sea that leak from Sealoy Art sinking into the sea, right? Until now, they still remove the cargo about, I don't know how many now. Cargo ใช่ไหม? Now they remove about 9 cargo from the sea, right? Not finished yet under the company who takes responsibility from Shanghai company who under the insurance company, right? So this case is not closed yet, still on court and process. So we involve this case and then we send this sample to analyze with our laboratory at Chonburi Province. Yep. Yeah, and then matching. We also try to matching between that oil and after we analyze is we found the possible matching, right? About that oil, crude oil and diesel. Okay, together. Therefore, this innovation has been creates positive impact in several dimensions. First, public service and government agency, right? The second, at the nation level, this can strengthen environmental security, reduce economic loss, and enhance Thailand's international image in marine environmental management, right? The third one for the private sector, the system improves transparency, accountability, and fairness regarding environmental responsibility. Also, in the social and economic dimension, it will reduce impact on local livelihoods and income while increasing public confidence and environmental management system. The last one is for the coastal community and the public. This innovation help reduce the impact of oil spill, supports faster environmental recovery, protect public health and livelihoods, also reduce social conflict and affected area, right? Why this project sustainability? For this project contribute the several United Nations Sustainable Development Goal or SDG, including about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, SDG 6, SDG 9, SDG 12, SDG 14, and SDG 16. So currently, we Pollution Control Department recommend continually expand the oil fingerprints database and support system to improve digital coverage and strengthen to respond capacity, right? I think this also very important that serve SDG 6, 9, 12, and 14 and 16. This right. Also, I back to why we use this oil fingerprint analysis with AI, right? Because before we use this system, right, we have to send this sample to abroad, and then we have to spend about 8,000 to 2,500 Thai baht for sample, right? And then it take time also. We send to which country? Before we have our laboratory, we send this to which country? Netherlands or Germany? We send this Tarball or oil sample to Germany, and then it takes time and costly, right? But after we apply to use this analysis by AI or fingerprint to or biomarker, that can reduce cost saving about exist before 81 million, right? 81 million 81 million Thai baht, 81 million Thai baht, right? So it and then it can saving our money also and short time. No need to send this to you to another country or Europe anymore, right? So I think this very useful for us, for PCD, for about marine environment also, right? This is my last presentation. So thank you for everyone to listen. If you have any question, you can raise your hand, right? Thank you. Or email to us. That the last slide. I have my email. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Kingdao, for the informative presentation. We apologize for the mistake in your department earlier. Thank you so much for your understanding, and we hope to hear many more amazing things from you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear the country's experience from Indonesia. It is my pleasure to invite Professor Insinyur Edwan Cardina, PhD from Institute Technology Bandung, Indonesia, to share Indonesia's approaches, challenges, and experiences in oil spill and tarball management. Professor Edwan, we are excited to hear your insights.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear my voice?
Morning, Professor. Yes, we can hear your voice clearly.
Okay. It's nice to see you all in this webinar, and I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me as a speaker on this webinar. Of course, I thank to the Ministry of Environment in Indonesia who contacted me and asked me to join this webinar. So in this case, I would like to share our experience. So I give the title Remediation of Petroleum Hydrocarbons Contaminated Environment. So it is not only water environment, sea environments, or coastal environment, but also inland. That is our experience. But of course, in this context, to show you some experience in Indonesia regarding the management or activity to clean up the potential or the event of contamination in coastal area. So this is actually the framework of how Indonesian government cope with any kind of environmental contaminations or disaster from normal condition into emergency condition and post-emergency condition. So I'm sorry, this is some of this, the word is in Asia, but basically in normal conditions and in the emergency condition, we have ministry regulation to guide our action to cope with this phase. So this is the Ministry Environment Regulation number 74, year 2019. This is basically how we cope with the emergency situation. Yeah. So emergency situation is the event when the case happens very, very recently. And then for those who are already get contamination for a long time, or in the case of emergency response not not yet resulted in a good result, so then we'll be continue to the post emergency phase, which we call it the remediation phase. Yeah. So this is the framework of Indonesian government in terms of regulation, how we cope or we manage the environment's contamination, especially like oil spill and tarball contaminated events. Yeah. So for the post emergency, we have the Ministry Environment Regulation number 101, year 2018. This is talking about the procedure, the method, how we do the remediations. Yeah. But above this regulation, we have government regulation, which is number 22, year 2021, in which in this regulation, it was also stated that the polluter payer principles, as well as the standard regulation, as well as the target level, how we should reduce the contaminant in the environment. Next slide, please. Next slide. Do we have already moved to the next slide?
To give us a moment, Professor, I think we have a little technical problem on our side.
Okay. Okay then.
Maaf ya, Prof. Tunggu sebentar ya,
Tidak
Prof.
apa-apa. So normally to do the actions to remediate the polluted environments in Indonesia, the responsible party, yeah, could be governments, could be a private sector, yeah. They must construct the plan document. Yeah, the plan document is called in our language is Rencana Pemulihan Fungsi Lingkungan Hidup, or in the textbook of remediation, it's called the site assessment planning plus remediation action planning. Yeah. So every party who are going to do a clean up, yeah, they must construct or submit this kind of document, and this document should be discussed in the Ministry of Environment and must be you upon the panel, and then finally to be signed by the ministry. Yeah, so the level of law on this document is similar to the Ministry Environment regulation. Yeah. So for the cleanup, sorry, I think yes, I think before this one. So the third slide, please. Before this one. Before this one.
From our side, we have actually changed it, Prof. I think there's a slight delay on our side. Give us a second, yeah.
Oh, okay. So before this, the cleanup remediation phase, we have the emergency phase. Yeah. So actually, we would like to show the slide entitled emergency phase. Now, thank you. So in this emergency phase, because it's emergency, so the party or the responsible person, the responsible party, do not ask to prepare the RFLA document or site action planning plus remediation action planning document, not required in case of the emergency. So they must do, action right away. Okay. In a limited time. Yeah. I think we are in the process of making a kind of regulation in which the maximum months for doing the emergency phase is being stated, maybe around 4 to 6 months. Yeah. So if over 6 months, then we consider the emergency phase failed. So it must go to the second phase, which is remediation action plan. Yeah. So next slide, please. Okay, so this is the second phase. Yeah. So in case the emergency was failed, then we go to clean up phase. Yeah. In this clean up phase, then it is obligation. It is a kind of a must for the party or the responsible party who should who must do a kind of clean up must submit the RFLH document to the ministry, which is a kind of combination between SIP, site action planning, and remediation action planning document. Okay, so basically the content of SIP and AP is actually the result of delineation activity. So we have to delineate, I mean, to calculate, the volume, yeah, the weight, the area, impacted area need to be cleaned up, yeah, by direct method, for example, yeah, doing a kind of grading and then handbore, taking samples, or indirectly by using a kind of imaging like geoelectric, for example, or georadars, and then you will be able to calculate the volume, the impacted area, and the concentration, as well as the target parameters. I mean, we need to decide which parameter. For example, for oil spill case, yeah, it is enough, like, for example, long chain total periodic carbon and short chain. Shall we consider also, like, for example, the benzene, benzene, ethylbenzene, toluene, yeah, sealant, yeah, or BTEX? Or should we also consider heavy metals? Yeah. So I think in our case, there will be a kind of discussions managed by the Ministry of Environment to decide these target parameters. Yeah. And then after we know already, the volume, the area, and then the map exactly where the location of the contaminated area, for example, coastal area. Then we also propose the method how we can clean up or remediate this kind of site. Yeah, and then goes to remediation. If this document has been approved, then we can start doing remediation. Yeah, for example, in certain area that is also stated in the document. Yeah, 1 year, 2 years. In the final step of this stage, yeah, then there will be a kind of verification. So there will be a kind of sampling initiated by the government to decide, yeah. But of course, the one who takes a sample to do the thing in the lab is the responsible responsible company or responsible party. But then the sample guided and agreed the method by the team, you know, under the Ministry of Environment. And then after the sample been sent and then the result from the lab is come up, then the company or the party will present the results. If everything clear, then the government will set the clearance in the meeting, and then there will be a kind of letters. It's called in Indonesian is SSPLT. That is the letter signed by the ministry, indicating or recognizing that the process of remediation finished with successful. And this letter is actually needed by the company who actually polluted or responsible for the case. So that is actually the framework of how Indonesian government deal with the oil spill as well as the Tarball's contamination in not only in the coastal area, on the seashore, on the sea, for example, but also in the land. Next slide. Okay, so this is a standard, for example, and this is the attachment 13 in the government regulation number 22, year 2021. Yeah, for example, for the case of polluted by the oil and gas company, you know, the oil spill, for example, in the coastal area, yeah, or even pipe leaking in land, we have many kind of case like this. And at the moment also, I'm actually meeting the same meeting in the pipe leaking, you know, just underneath the toll road in Bali Island, which, you know, unfortunately, the oils, you know, fell down into the sea, and then some of the mangrove affected in the area. Now, actually, in the meeting in the same time, I will be joining the meeting after this this webinar. So, for example, this is the standard. Yeah, we have the benzene or petroleum hydrocarbon. This is the short chain C9, C6 to C9, and then long chain C10 to C36. And after there are many other parameters. For example, TCLPA and TK is for total concentration A. Yeah, we consider the remediation will be successful if all the parameters concerns below TKC. So the TKC for a petroleum carbon long chain is 1,000 milligram per kilogram. Yeah, short chain is 100 milligram per kilogram. So we aim our emergency response, we aim our remediation phase to reduce the concentration of petroleum carbon long chains under 1,000 milligram per kilogram, and short chain 100 milligram per kilogram. Unless benzene not considered, so we don't measure benzene. But if benzene or BTEX also to be considered as the parameter, then we need, for example, for benzene should be less than 1 milligram per kilogram. That is our case based on the regulation year 22, number 22, year 2021. So next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, so this is from my point of view as researchers, also practitioners in the area of remediating contamination from petroleum hydrocarbon. So actually, we divided petroleum hydrocarbon into several classification physically and biologically, for example. So for dissolved oil or milky emulsion, yeah, that can be actually done by biological process. Yeah, In contrast, for example, non-milky emulsion film, yeah, may be separated by physical process. Yeah, like for example, in the oil and gas industries, they use, for example, the WEMCO, which is basically dispersed air rotation. Yeah, based on the length of carbon, for example, the low chains or the short chains is readily biodegradable, but of course, some of carbon will be released, buffer or gone in the air. But for high chains, they are relatively not biodegradable, so we need a kind of surfactant to make it biodegradable. Yeah. So this is a kind of basic of technology how we deal with the oil and petroleum carbon in the environment, in water as well as in soil. And next slide. This is just a sample how we select bacteria who can degrade the oil. Yeah. This is the way microbiologists in my lab doing this kind of thing. And next slides. Okay, this is just to identify the psychological of bacteria who can degrade petroleum carbon. So we choose normally the best bacteria among several isolate taking from outside, but also we try to see whether the environment can accommodate the bacteria, or we should add some nutrients into the environment, because, for example, in the environment we are lacking of nitrogen and phosphorus. This sometimes actually will boost, the rate of degradation by adding a nutrient, because in the soil or in water they are lacking of this kind of nutrient. So next slide. Okay, this is just an example how we do it in land. This is in the Seram Islands, yeah, in Maluku, yeah. There is a company who has, you can see this is a nice pond, but actually there's this oil sludge, they dump in the ton, and we clean up this kind of thing. And it's very close to the sea. Yeah. The next slide. Okay, this is how we do it. Yeah. Actually, this is the on-site bioremediation. So the technique actually we do it ex situ method, but not taking everywhere, yeah, because it's a very small island and very close to the sea. So we do it the on-site. We do it on-site, but using the method off-site. The method is the ex situ method. Yeah. Next slide. So this is how it looks like. The on-site ex situ bioremediation of oil sludge and soil contaminated by oil. Next slide. And this is how we prepare the microbes. So the microbe, we took the seed from my lab in Bandung, and then we took the sample, the seed into the site, and we built a kind of reactor. We use any kind of tank or fireball with all the ready equipment, here, like for example the blower. Yeah, normally people in the company have already know or possess this kind of facilities, so we just use it. Yeah, that is someone who put the seed into the tank. Yeah, so we have a lot of microbes to do a kind of bioremediation. Next slide. So this is how we monitor. Yeah, this is the pH. So we expect this can reach the standard within well, in the old regulation it should be finished in 8 months, but now we're quite demanding, so we should finish within, say, for example, 3 or 4 months. Next slide. Okay, this is another case. This is the gathering station of our company. Yeah, with very slow velocity of channel. So that means even though the facilities in the area has already reduced the oil content into the standard, but because the channel cannot flow the water, so the oil accumulated, in the channel. So we clean up this one. So this channel actually goes to Siak Clifford, and Siak Clifford goes to the actually in Malacca Strait, because this is in Sumatra. Next slide. So this is the activity in the station. So we actually take out the sediment and then send it to the third party. But then the soil contaminated in the river bank, we do it by on-site method. Next slide. Okay, this is a kind of sample field survey in the Thousand Islands during the Java coastal area oil spill in the year of 2019 to 2020. So the oil spill hit, even the some of the island in the Thousand Islands. Next slide. So this is the survey, and these are all the stakeholders, like from Indonesian Oil and Gas Company, Pertamina, from Ministry of Environment, from the Ministry of Energy and Natural Resources, so these are all the stakeholders are doing survey, monitoring the action of remediation in the coastal line in Java Island from Karawang to Banten, as well as in the Thousand Islands. And this was during the year of 2019 to 2021, so during the pandemic time. Next slide. So this is when we take the verification sample after after cleanup has been done. So we need to have to take a sample whether the contaminated soil or water or sludge has been gone. Next slide. Okay, so this is how we applied our microbe to the environment, and it's the case of oil spill in Balikpapan as well as in the Java Island. This is bioremediation activity in the coastal lands. Oil spill in the western part of Java Island. And these are the example of our publication in book chapters as well as in the journals. I think that's all the presentation from Indonesia side. So I would like to thank for all the patience and attention. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Edwan, for the insightful sharing and the valuable perspectives from Indonesia. We totally apologize for the hiccups earlier, and thank you so much for your kind understanding, Professor. Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next we will continue with the sharing session from Malaysia. To deliver the presentation, please welcome Ms. Norina Frederick Sambang, Senior Principal Assistant Director for Oil Spill Contingency Section, Department of Environment, Malaysia. Ms. Norina, the stage is now yours.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, Miss, we can hear you clearly.
All right, thank you. Good morning, and a very good morning to all the distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning for everyone. Thank you for the opportunity given to me to share on the Malaysia perspective. What is the Malaysia strategic approach for oil spill and tarball management? So when we think of oil spill, we often picture massive, rare tankers accidents. But in Malaysia, there is a silent threat happening constantly under the radar. So can we go to the next one? My slide. So today, I would like to present to you the temper contents of my slide will be on the oil spill cases in Malaysia, a legal framework for managing oil pollution in Malaysia, and what's the mandate given to DOE in managing oil spill response, and what are the oil spill response plans and the documents that need to use for response, and what is the initiative in oil spill management. So Malaysia waters are economic lifelines. However, they are increasingly vulnerable to the oil pollution incidents. So over the next few minutes, I will discuss this in my the further slide. Okay, next. So this slide is to show the charts. Okay, the record of the incidents will be since 2011. Actually, we have more than that years of the spill incident, but I just take randomly for 2011 to 2015. If you can see here, there is a staggering of 63.6% of oil spill come from the unknown sources. That is the one that we classify as the mystery spill. So this high percentage of highlight how difficult it is to trace and hold illegal spiller accountable. Among the known sources, shipping activities are the second largest contributor at 21.7%, followed by ports and terminals at 8.9%, and offshore oil and gas platform is 5.8%. Disclaimer for this data is actually the one that we have not received any complaints, so we cannot count that in. This is what we have received of the complaints that received by the Departments of Environment. So when we look closer at the geography, the trend split clearly by region. Spill in the busy Strait of Malacca and Singapore originated mainly from the heavy commercial shipping traffic. On the other hand, in the South China Sea, offshore oil and gas platform alongside subsea pipelines serve as the primary additional sources of pollution. Next slide, please. Next slide. So in the next slides, showing the timelines of how Malaysia legal framework has evolved. Malaysia's comprehensive approach to oil spill management didn't happen overnight. It has been progressively built, improved, and updated over the last 50 years to address emerging maritime challenges. There are several pieces of legislation in Malaysia focused on enforcing law against oil spill pollution at Malaysia waters, mainly the Merchant Shipping Ordinance 1952, Environmental Quality Act 1974, Economic Exclusive Zone Act 1985, and Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Agency Act 2004. So this is the main legislations that actually also governs on the oil spill pollution in Malaysia. Next, please. So in the next slide is to introduce what are the mandate given to the Departments of Environment Malaysia, or which is DOE. We are the primary agency responsible for enforcing offences under the Section 27 of Environmental Quality Act 1974, which prohibits the discharge of oil or mixing oil into the Malaysia waters. Furthermore, DOE also is being granted enforcement powers under the Part 4, Section 8 and 9 of the EEZ Act 1984, which relate to the environmental pollution, including oil spill within it. In addition to that, DOE also is tasked with coordinating oil spill response. This operational mandate is established in accordance with the Cabinet Memorandum 1976. Finally, in the events of major spill incident, the DOE coordinates the response to maritime disaster caused by an oil spill, operating under the framework of the National NAPMA Directive Number 1, of which is National Disaster Management Directive Number 1. Okay, next. Okay, when we're talking about the oil spill response, this slide is showing the core reference plans and framework documents that detect exactly how an oil spill response is executed in Malaysia. First, we have the oil spill response plan mandated for the industries themselves, which cover their localized operations. It's directly ties to the request for the government assistance guideline, which outline the operational procedure for Tier 1s and Tier 2 industry responses when state level and national backup is required. Moving to the shoreline, the state coastal or beach cleanup response plan will be a reference to coordinate and respond to clean up the polluted coastline and beach area, ensuring fast and coordinated effort to protect the coastal environments and community. Meanwhile, for the oil spill response at sea, the guidance will be based on the Malaysia Oil Spill Contingency Plans, or MOSCOP. DOA mandated as a lead agency will coordinate the overall response and assist by Malaysian Marine Department as the on-scene commander at sea. Alongside all the response plan, if there is any wildlife or its habitats will be impacted, the Malaysia Oil Wildlife Response Plan, or MORAP, will be referred to. This plan establishes precise protocols for rescuing and treating the coastal and sea wildlife. So this proactive initiative and forward-looking strategy Malaysia is implementing to tackle oil spill management more effectively. We have structured this into 3 pillars along our operational roadmap. Next slide, please. Okay, pillar number 1 is strengthening the legal framework. Focus on strengthening our legal framework as law must evolve alongside industry changes. We are continuously updating our regulation to ensure penalties are severe enough to deter illegal spillers and that regulatory loopholes are closed. Pillar number 2 is on the forensic innovations. Our second pillar addressed the massive challenge of the mystery spill that I was mentioned earlier through initiative and innovation in forensic approach investigations. By leveraging advanced technology like chemical fingerprinting and satellite tracking, we can now scientifically trace oil back to its specific source even long after the spill occurred. The third pillar will be inter-agency collaborations, both in enforcement as well and in the oil spill response. Protecting our vast maritime zone cannot be done alone. This initiative ensures seamless communications, share data, and joint training operation between DOE, the Marine Department, Malaysia Maritime Enforcement Agency, and other more relevant federal, state, and corporate partners such as Petronas and PMEC to guarantee fast, coordinated, and united response to any spill. So let us dive into the strategic in the Malaysia first strategic pillar, of which to strengthening the legal framework to effectively combat oil pollution. We are upgrading our law from being reactive to highly deterrent and operationally decentralized. This roadmap highlights 4 crucial points. First one is to increase the penalty. For the offense under Section 27 of the EQA 1974, we have moved from previous maximum penalty of 500,000 ringgit Malaysia to a strict mandatory minimum 100,000 ringgit Malaysia, all the way to the maximum 10 million ringgit Malaysia. This massive financial penalty send a clear signal that illegal discharge will not be tolerated. Second is to delegations of the powers. A new order is being implemented for the delegations of power under Section 27 since last year. By empowering a select groups of government maritime agency to enforce these sections directly, we can ensure a faster and immediate legal enforcement out at sea. Thirdly, reviewing Environmental Quality Act 1974, DOE is actually undergoing a comprehensive reviews of the entire EQA 1974 since 2 years ago, and we are at the end of the phase. So this will inclusively focusing on the sections directly related to oil management, ensuring our overarching environmental law aligns with the modern maritime standards. And lastly, a new regulations. We are also in the process of drafting new regulations specifically targeting the controls of pollution at sea. This regulation emphasize 4 areas: mandatory OSRP compliance for facilities like ports and oil platforms, mandatory environment impact studies, requiring Tier 1 response to be strictly data-driven, and setting a non-compliant penalty of up to 100,000. Next. So in the second pillar, in the next slide, innovations in our forensic investigation approach. Earlier, I have shown you the staggering statistic growing that over 60% of oil spill come from unknown mystery sources. These slides outline the exact arsenal approach that we can use to eliminate that anonymity and also hold the polluters legally accountable. The first one we use is oil map trajectory modeling. We are subscribed to the system. So this is powerful software serves as dual purpose. It allows us to predict forward trajectories to see where a spill is heading so we can protect our vulnerable coastline. Crucially for forensic, it also allowed us to run backtrack simulations, reversing oceans, currents, and wind data to trace the oil back to its exact geographical origin point at sea. Secondly, will be the hydrocarbon fingerprinting system, or we call in short forms HIFIS. So HIFIS is the physical oil samples are extracted via the GCMS and GCFID laboratory analysis, which then are interpreted by our expert chemists from the Malaysia Chemistry Department. This system doesn't just match oil to suspect, it also achieves unidentified spill data into centralized pool for future use. Looking ahead, if we manage to secure development budget, we intend to upgrading its. So this upgrading will enrich our database to better differentiate highly weathered oil sample using international standards combined with statistical modeling and artificial intelligence. Finally, bridging these two systems together is satellites and radar imagery. By utilizing space-borne remote sensing data, we can detect oil slick in real time, capture radar evidence of ships or platform spill, and instantly cross-reference those coordinates with our tracking models. Okay, in the next slide, I will show you on the case study that we have been conducted on 2 years ago, 21st of September 2023, that we have received the public complaints on the oil spill, of which is unknown spill. So in the first phase of our investigations, that when spill is unknown, our first challenge is playing detective to find the source. We utilize the oil map modeling in backward simulations mode. The model allows us to trace the slick back in times, pointing directly to the shipyard area. So in the second phase of our investigations, with the target area narrowed down by the software, the targeted sea and land patrolling was deployed. So on-site investigation has successfully isolated 2 suspected sources within that shipyard for sampling. So that our investigator officers has taken the sample, and in the third phase, the definite proof came down to the chemistry. The chemistry department performed DNA fingerprinting analyzing on the oil sample. So the chemical signature providing an undeniable match between the spill oil and the source, giving us the bulletproof evidence needed to initiate formal legal proceeding. Next. Next slide, please. So responding to the effectively to oil spill requires seamless collaboration across multiple departments to ensure everyone is aligned. DOE focus on 4 continuous strategies. The first is to conduct annual meeting. We are the hosts of the annual meeting with the National Oil Spill Operation Committees. Soon, DOE State Office also will be hosting State Oil Spill Operation Committee. This keeps all the stakeholders aligned with mandate laid out in the MOSCOP and also in the Coastal Beach Up cleaning plan. Secondly is hands-on training through tabletop exercise for strategic planning and field training exercise for real deployment. This is to keep Malaysia readiness when incidents occur. Thirdly is continually plan review. As I have been present earlier, we have few documents specifically on the MOSCOP and beach coastal oil cleanup. So we continue to review this based on the new informations. And lastly is the focus on the enhanced enforcement procedures, especially focusing on tightening field investigation protocol and perfecting our oil spill sampling techniques. So all these 4 strategies ensure that when incident happens, our response is unified and plans are current and our legal evidence is airtight. Next slides. all of us know that oil spills do not respect international borders. Effective management requires strong cross-border partnership. As for now, Malaysia plays an active role in the Revolving Fund Committee, RFC, of which the members will be consist of Malaysia, Indonesia, and Singapore. So we are focused on the joint combat SOPs in the Strait of Malacca and Singapore, specifically target vessels and ship source pollution. And the second collaborations we have is with Brunei Darussalam. Through our bilateral agreements with Brunei that govern joint response operation related to transboundary pollutions at South China Sea, including Brunei Bay. And thirdly is the Malaysia-Singapore Joint Committee on the Environment, or MSJCE. So under these collaborations, we have direct environmental committees handles transboundary pollution issue between the two states, including oil spill cover both landwards and seawards pollution incident. And due to we have not have this SOP, and that is on the plate that we're going to develop a new SOP for this. And fourthly, if that we have the ITOF collaborations, that global strategic partnership with ITOF, we have formalized 5-year collaboration starting 2024 till 2028. This is another efforts of DOE in strengthening planning and response metric, as well as to build capacity for complex financial claims and compensations. Okay, for the next slides, we'll be sharing on what is the happenings that has been happens in the oil spill response. Okay, next slides. Okay, so this is all our stakeholders when we review the workshop. Next. Next, please. Am I still in?
Is it this one, Miss? Is this a slide or is it before this?
I am not sure because I only saw that at Moscow MPTPP's workshop just now.
Okay. So it's the slide after this slide, yeah?
Okay, so all right, never mind. So this is the workshops that we have with when evaluating our okay back. So okay, this is the workshops that few workshop is not only one workshops, because we have like a few states in Malaysia, so we have to go through all the states so that everybody, all the stakeholders are included in the workshop. Next. Can we go next? Okay, this is the last year we did our evaluations on our plan assessed by the ITOF. So from this workshop, we can actually know where we are in the benchmark of the international benchmark. So from that reports that we receive, then we actually this year there is a few workshop that we plan to really look into it, and so that we are actually not really lacking out, but we are actually in par with what the international requirements for the plan. Next. This is the exercise. So this exercise, we try to have it once a year at least. We have partnership with our Petronas. So with their Petronas and their PAC, the contractors under the Petronas. So at least the burdens of the governments to come out to focus the financial burdens will be reduced, because it will be comprised of all the stakeholders. So this is the last year one, 2025. We make it for the regions of the East regions for Malaysia. So this year we have another 2, of which will be in the mid regions and also at Sabah water. Next. So these are the collaborations and the meetings that we have with Brunei last year to actually review on the SOPs that already long time has not been revisited. So that this year Malaysia will host the discussions, the workshop to review that SOPs. Next. Okay, so this is under the RFC, of which this is comprised of Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore. So I think this is a very active committee because we have met yearly twice. Since 2022, Singapore is the host country until next year, April. Yes, not next year, April. So we consistently met in Singapore. And this is the OSP incident. Okay, back. Next one. Okay, under the RFC is not only just a meeting, but we also have the capacity building, we have the training. This year we have been attending the IMO level 3 training under that under the RFC host. Okay, this is the OSP incidents in 2020. At the times is a COVID-19 and restrictive of the movements. So this is the operations together with all the stakeholders. The government agency also contributes from our partners, Petronas and PMEX, and all the others state governments. So this is cleanup activity at the sea. Next. Okay, so okay, it's quite slow. Okay, so this is all the activities when the cleanup of the beach area and also on the waters. We are very fortunate at the times, though it's a COVID-19, so nobody is actually at the beach. So it's only all the cleanups task force. So all the strategies that we use by sweeping and scooping and also litter collections and segregations of all the waste. So that is the major waste that we are collecting. So this is all the activities on the beach, mangrove areas. Next. Next. So at the times we already have actually in the process of develops our MORAPS or oil wildlife rescue plan. So our wildlife departments actually assist in terms of try to rescue some of the live like birds, and this is mud lobster from being impacted by the oil. So they manage it. So far, been reported that it survived. Next. So that is the photos showing before and after. It takes us 8 days, actually, about 8 days to actually clean the box oil. And after that, all done just to actually to finishing using the absorbent booms. So all these activities have been actually 8 days to clean up. 4,000 mangrove tree has been affected. The areas will be 2.3 hectares, 173 numbers of wildlife salvage. 26 agencies has been involved with 1,103 personnel involved. So this is the record for the Tanjung Tuan and Pantai Cermin at the Port Dickson. It's evolved 2 states, right? I think this is maybe the last. Is it the last? So to conclude, we have explored how Malaysia proactively innovates to protect our water from oil pollution through 3 interconnected layers: scientific evidence, local unity, and global partnerships. Our objective remains clear: zero impunity for marine polluters. Despite multitude of challenges, we are committed to adopting advanced technology backed by rock-solid national and regional corporations to keep our marine ecosystem clean, safe, and sustainable for the future. So I also want to share the quote of the day. In the chaos of oil spill, success is not a matter of luck, but the direct results of a well-rehearsed plan supported by unwavering interagency collaboration. With that, thank you so much. Hand over to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Narina, for the comprehensive sharing and presentation from Malaysia. Thank you so much. Oh, there's a song going on, I think. Is it just me? Yeah. All right. So before we proceed with the interactive discussion and way forward, we would like to invite Mr. Jirapong Kuhakarn, the Deputy Director General of the Pollution Control Department, Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment from Thailand, to deliver a short remarks. Mr. Jirapong, the floor is yours, sir.
พิษประเทศไทยนะครับสำหรับการนำเสนออันมีค่าในวันนี้การนำเสนอดังกล่าวได้สะท้อนถึงภาพเหตุการณ์ในระดับภูมิภาคมิติด้านกฎหมายและการบังคับใช้ตลอดจนเครื่องมือทางเทคนิคแนวทางปฏิบัติที่ดีประสบการณ์ในการดำเนินงานจริงของแต่ละประเทศซึ่งล้วนเป็นองค์ประกอบสำคัญในการยกระดับการจัดการคราบน้ำมันและก้อนน้ำมันดินในภูมิภาคของเราการแลกเปลี่ยนองค์ประกอบความรู้ประสบการณ์ในครั้งนี้แสดงให้เห็นถึงความจำเป็นและความร่วมมือของประเทศทั้ง3เพื่อเสริมสร้างความพร้อมในการป้องกันรับมือลดผลกระทบจากเหตุการณ์มลพิษทางทะเลและซึ่งมีลักษณะเป็นมลพิษข้ามแดนต่อจากนี้ขอเชิญทุกท่านเข้าสู่ช่วงอภิปรายร่วมเพื่อแลกเปลี่ยนข้อคิดเห็นและร่วมกันกำหนดแนวทางความร่วมมือในระดับภูมิภาคต่อไปขอบคุณครับ
For share remarkable, I would like to thank speaker for comprehensive introduction, outline, objective, scope, and explaining outcome for the webinar today. This provide important foundation to building the sharing, understanding among all participants moving into the technical session. Establish common framework, understanding will enable more knowledge exchange, experience sharing, and constructive discussion. Ultimate strengthening regional cooperation oil spill and Tarball. And thank you to the Kun Miss King Dao Interactive for sharing the tool of identification oil spill and Tarball, and Professor Edwan Canada oil spill and Tarball management in Indonesia, and Miss Noria Frederick Sambang for oil spill and Tarball management in Malaysia. So we move next to the agenda for the interactive discussion, recommendation, and way forward to moving on together by facilitated by CIMT.
Thank you so much to Mr. Jirapong and Ms. Ratiwan Kapongka. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the next session. We have finally arrived at the final session of today's webinar, the interactive discussion on recommendations and the way forward for IMT-GT cooperation on oil spill and Tarball management. This session will provide an opportunity for participants to exchange views, raise questions, and share recommendations on strengthening regional cooperation and response mechanism. Participants are welcome to submit their questions in the chat box, and we will read them as we go. You can type, I think I've seen a few questions in the Q&A. You can type it in Thai as well. It's okay. We're going to translate it for you. Also, to facilitate this session, I would like to invite again Mr. Amri Bukhairi Bahtia, the Director of CIMT, to lead the discussion. Over to you, Mr. Amri.
Okay, thank you, Alia, and good morning again to everyone. I think we had a very good presentation, and then I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to all three panelists for their kind sharing. I think I believe I was informed that our colleagues from the US were unable to join us, but I think that is okay. I think we had very good sharing from colleagues from Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand. I think the value of this sort of interaction, particularly within the IMTGT, is actually the sharing of national experiences and best practices, and how maybe we can move together forward as a sub-region. In terms of questions, I would like to emphasize, if there are any questions, please convey those questions in the chat box that you have, ideally in English, of course, so that we can communicate that to our speakers as well as to everyone who is participating today. Maybe just to start off the discussion, in terms of, I believe that everybody had shared with regards to what is the measures and technology being implemented in each particular country. I think it's also equally important in terms of how the linkages, particularly cross-border, environmental or maritime, environmental concerns are addressed between either the two countries or within the three countries of IMTGT. So in that aspect, maybe I'll extend this question to all three speakers. So with regards to, from your country's perspective, what do you think are the priority gaps and needs that could be addressed through enhanced IMTGT sub-regional cooperation and coordination mechanisms? I believe that we have this platform, the IMTGT platform, for us to engage. So what do you think are the priority gaps and needs that could be addressed? With that, maybe I'll start with maybe Prof. Izwan Kadena, if that is, maybe we'll start IMT lah. We'll start with Indonesia first. Please, sir.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think this is a very important question. Actually, in our regulation, we have regulation president regulation, which is under the government regulation number 109 year 2006, which classified the incident into three class or three type, which is local plus neighboring area, that is second type, and the third one is the national type. With national type, it's actually possible to do kind of international cooperation. I think our colleagues from Malaysia has been also presented the Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore. We have actually common, interest in the Malacca Strait, where actually close to Singapore and Malaysia. We have also surrounding islands, Bintan area, Batam area, which, according to the Malaysian college, 60% more is unknown. See, because we couldn't, exactly identify who's actually responsible party doing the oil spills in our islands. So I think that is something that could be in cooperation with at least three countries, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Singapore, to identify together not only the technical, but also to prevent from accident from happens in the futures. I think that is my general comment on that.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you. I think that's very valuable. Maybe I invite Ms. Norina for your view. And I know you touched upon this a bit in your presentation, but maybe you can expand a bit more.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amri. All right. I think the first things that we are lacking now is a joint SOP. I think I have been mentions that if there is no joint SOP, it's very difficult for us to communicate when we want to relay the information to our neighboring country. So I think that's the things that we are lacking on, and I hopes that under these platforms we can actually look into it and to close that gaps, because without it, it will be not only communication gaps that we are experienced with, but delay on response. Because as I think Indonesia and Thailand also agree upon, that is most of the spill is actually the mystery spill. So when at the mystery spill, we have not directly get the informations. We don't have enough informations. That is first part. The second part is how we relate to our neighboring country when we do not know who to relate to. So it will be actually that we have to use our diplomacy. So that it will be delay, I think, for the response and for them to actually patrolling the areas to see whether that the spill is actually already surpassed the boundary. Second thing, I think financial mechanism. Everybody facing the same thing. Even in the nationals response, we also have that kinds of problem issues where we have funding shortfalls, especially in the oil spill, that we need to actually, we want to do it as fast as possible, but we have funding shortfall that actually hold us and to see where we can actually put the funding and use the fund. And so I think if we able to have dedicated financial mechanism like RFC, we have funds that we can use to as the front first, but definitely we have to pay back after we get a claim compensation. That would be good. And I also see that for Thailand just now, they're also talking about the fingerprinting. So if we have in this region, if we have like sharing the technical protocol, how to analyze, how to samples, that would be good because we can actually share the information, the database, because we use the same standards. So I think that is another approach that I can say will help us to actually look into how to solve all this mystery spill. I think I just hold here first, Mr. Amri.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Norina. I think that was quite useful in terms of, I think, potential joint SOP, as you mentioned, and the funding gaps, as well as sharing of data or information among member countries. And maybe that's something that we can consider moving forward. I'd like to invite Ms. Kingdao into the discussion. Maybe if you have
Okay.
some thoughts, please.
Thank you very much. I would like to share, but I agree with Miss from Malaysia that we have to share it like a database, share database and in information exchange system. Also training needs for our fingerprints. And we have to have guideline or manual together across our country, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Thailand. Harmonize protocol, I think very useful for us. Also, we need it look like funding for training or for analyze information after we suppose we collect a sample, we already analyze, right? And then maybe across the country in Malaysia, Indo or Malaysia have another technology that's similar to our fingerprint analyze that use that's biomarker, right? So we need training need funding for our staff to more expertise, right? I think Malaysia can leader. I support Malaysia. Thank you so much. If I have another information, we will contact by email address or another. But for another issue, it look like Indonesia, they apply to use bio this percent, right? So can I ask question? I would like to know how effective when they use bio this percent to use, yeah, for this kind of trees oil spill, right? Could you please?
Okay. So actually, in the first phase, they use the non-biodispersants, sorry, non-biosurfactants, but that also actually can cause another problem and environmental problems. So with this biosurfactant, actually, we can have the same effect. Even in this case, it was found to be more effective, but also once the biosurfactant finish the job, they can be easily, disappear because it's biodegradable, rather than using ionic or other type of synthetic biosurfactant. So it's quite effective, and we actually tested in the lab by using what we call it as the E100, E24. So we mix, the oil by the surfactant, if they can emulsify the oil and stable within 24 hours, that is indicating that this surfactant is working very good. So we tested towards several type of crude oil. Am I answering your questions?
Yeah, thank you. And this bacteria is already approved from your government or with agency up to approve when you use this bacteria to disinfectant for oils or Tarball in that. Actually, this used for fresh water or seawater, this bacteria.
Well, actually, we are not using bacteria for the surfactant. So we use the second metabolic product. So the biosurfactant will create or will produce the biosurfactant. And then we use this biosurfactant, not the bacteria, to emulsify the oil. But for degrading the oil, that we use the bacteria. So there is two kind of biological agents. The first one is the product of bacteria. It's called biosurfactant. Actually, this chemical is called the granulipid or polysaccharides. Yeah, epoxy polysaccharides. That is a kind of lipid. Yeah, so it is harmless to the environment. And that is for solidifying. Like for example, if the oil quite hardly stick into the rock, yeah, that's normally if we just flash by this surfactant, the oil will just right away come off from the rock, and then we use the oil boom or absorbers, yeah, surround it one, and then the come off oil will then be absorbed by the absorber. So that's the way the surfactant or biosurfactant work.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Prof, for the answer, and I appreciate all the comments and sharing that was provided. So let me go to the question, because I think looking at the chat box, there were a number of questions which have been highlighted. Maybe I'll take the first one. This one comes from Mr. Zulhisham bin Muhammad. So regarding the MOSCOP tier classification, so I think this is for Ms. Norina, because I think this is for Malaysia. Could the speaker explain the specific criteria used to determine whether an oil spill falls under the tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 response in Malaysian waters? So maybe Ms. Norina, you would like to share?
Okay, thank you, Samri. All right, in our tiers response in the MOSCOPs that has been listed, stated in the MOSCOP. So tier 1 is actually, this is regarding the sea. Okay, this is regarding the sea. It will be different when it's come to the beach or coastal area. So at the sea, we have like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So tier 1 usually is the locals respond, and local response is actually who are the spiller. We are pointing who are the spiller. If that is from the industry, so industry is actually our tier 1. They need to respond to that the spills that has been caused by the operations. And when there is a time that, for example, that the spill may be spreading and may cause the transboundary pollution, definitely the government will assist. So when that is happens, so the government will use the access to assist in the response for the tier 1 just now. Okay, so DOE will have the mandate to determine whether the government will assist or not based on the situation, transboundary pollutions, or it really vast or huge incidents of which may be affecting so many impacts, not only to the marine life, but also to the coastal communities. So the communication will be taken under the tier 3, or which are communications by G to G. Tier 3 governments will be communicates to our counterparts. If we have SOP, we are much easier to do our job because we know who to call and to relay the informations and also to share the informations. However, if we don't have, so we have to use the diplomacy way, or which may be not as smooth as when we have the SOP. So that is our tier in the MOSCOP. So how the industry actually bridging into our government's plan, or which is MOSCOP. Yeah, that's my answer.
Thank you, Ms. Werner, for the clarification. I hope that would address the question posed earlier. So we also have another question here from Tiramet Dapan. The question is, in real oil spill and Tarball response operations, what technologies are currently being used in the IMT-GT region? For example, satellite images, drones, oil spill trajectory models, coastal radar, AIS data, or laboratory fingerprinting to identify the source of oil. I think some panels highlighted that, but maybe if you would like to respond. Maybe Prof. Edwan, you may want to respond first.
I think these are methods raised by the questioners are used. For example, oil spill trajectory model. Of course, we use that one to predict the movement of oil in the sea. Also radars, AIS data, laboratory, yeah, all kind of this data collecting and try to understand the movement, the location. We use it, and then I think the technology to take out or to remove the oil, which gonna be very similar. Yeah, I think like water boom, absorbers, maybe dispersants. When it hits to the land or to the coastal area, to the seashore line, then actually any kind of remediating technology, like for example bio-based or non-bio-based, like for example soil washing, chemicals oxidation, if it is mass, I think that is a kind of technology viable. And in Indonesia, from our experience, we use all that kind of method.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Ms. Rina, would you like to add?
Okay, as I've been in my slide just now, okay, we use the oil maps, all right. As I mentioned just now, we use oil map and also the fingerprinting actually to prove one cases, and it's been successful. The one that we have not been actually used as formally is actually on the satellite images. So we are in progress on piloting project with our partners. So we hopes that there is actually some kinds of very positive, only that when we want to secure the project, maybe it will cost very costly for the satellite images, but we see how. So that is another thing that Malaysia would like to explore. But others, we already explore oil speed trajectories, modeling, and also using the fingerprinting, and that we call HIFIS just now. So the rest will be on the satellite images. Drone we have used, but it's not really, it's only reactive, it's not proactive. It is really just like when it happened, then you can fly the drone. But when satellite images, it's really help us to actually knowing who are the culprits out there. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Rina. Ms. Kingdom, would you like
Okay,
to
thank you.
respond as well?
For Thailand, I think we start with tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. It's similar Malaysia, right? For tier 1, we call small, and tier 2 medium, and last tier 1 is oil leaks not more than 20 ton. Tier 2 not more than 20 to 1,000, and tier 3 1,000, right? And then we use oil map model to forecast where the oil spill go, right? Also we use satellite another department, we support them, right, to forecast it. And another thing is we use drone also, but drone not as another department use drone. It means we use drone, satellite, and oil spill model, right, to forecast where that's oil spill go. So we forecast day by day, right? Or if very serious or important, we forecast more often in 1 day, right? Or frequently as much as we can. And then we support to center that we in Thailand we have commander by Thai Navy, right? And another department will support. And then the other department, they do their own duty on the national plan, right? Because in my presentation, I just focus only my work is like oil fingerprint. So next time we will discuss together. We also have our plan normally we look like similar Malaysia, right? How we work on oil spill when the case occur. So this is my answer. Yeah.
Can I respond to the Thai just now about the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3? We are no longer using the volumes. We already move out from the volume in terms of tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. We are actually based on the speeders and what they respond by the state and also by the national level. Thank you.
Okay. In detail, it's similar also. We can separate case, how big or accident, right? Yeah. Thailand, we use both volume and another detail also combined together. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think I see a lot of similarities, and in terms of the monitoring methods and how the data is collected. So I think that certainly leaves us a lot of room to cooperate and convert, for example, the sharing of data as we mentioned, or a database that could benefit all three countries. We also have some more questions here. I think this comes from Sakda, is it? If I mention that correctly. So the question is, with regard to satellite-based traceback of oil spill sources, could you kindly share the capabilities Malaysia currently employs to identify the origin of a spill? In particular, what notification arrangements or information sharing channels are presently in place to inform Thailand or Indonesia when a source is detected? in shared waters. So this one, can I invite Miss Norina?
Okay. As I mentioned just now, satellite base is not being used yet. We are actually on the pilot project. We have not really sure. We have see that, but it looked positive. It just that to acquire it will be costly. So that is why we have not yet to really utilize it 100% to use satellite-based tracing the oil spill. And on the information sharing at the moment, with Indonesia, we use the RFCs. That is the only SOPs that we have with Indonesia. However, we have yet to have the informations on how to channels our informations to Thailand, because we don't have any existing sub-regional levels or SOP. Even the RFC is only talking about the versal source, but at least we have some kinds of someone in the SOPs that are highlighting who are the persons of in charge or who are the license officer that we can actually relay our informations at the moment. So that is why this is very important to close that gap, to come up with the existing, come up with the new SOP to covers the regions of Thailand and Malaysia, and maybe including Indonesia.
Thank you, Ms. Norina. I don't know if Prof. Edwan or Ms. Kimba would like to add on to what has been mentioned, particularly with regards to, I think, the challenges faced in terms of, reaching out your colleagues or your counterparts in, the other two countries. Is that something that you face similarly, and do you think, having this, for example, development of standard operating procedures, SOPs, or joint understanding of the methods, is that something that could be useful?
Yeah,
Please.
I would like to just share. Several times ago, we had the kind of meeting in Ministry of Coordination in Jakarta regarding the oil spills in the islands very close to Malacca Strait and Singapore, in which I think the case is heavily influenced by the sea current, the sea current, yeah, and that's also depend on the seasons, yeah. Sometimes this is, the sea current moving from south to north, north to south, and then we suddenly, for example, having a kind of oil spill in one island, and then in one other occasion it's moving away. So I think this kind of thing we need to increase the cooperation, maybe just like we mentioned, sharing information, data, because it's not easy to identify the source of pollutant in the shared waters. Yeah, if it is not in the shared waters, normally in our case we can easily identify who's responsible. So I think in this development of SOP protocol, that's like Mr. Rina mentioned, I think that would be very important. Maybe offline coordinator meeting regulars between Malaysia and Thailand. I think that also could be very important. One of my questions actually, why Singapore is not involved? I mean, it's because I think for Malaysia, Indonesia, Malaysia Strait, Singapore, I think it's very important. So that's just my answers or my share in this discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Just to add on, I mean, the sub-regional cooperation that we have under IMT-GT is just focusing on the three countries. Of course, maybe in the future, the countries may want to think about, including other countries as well, including Singapore. But I think at this stage, the cooperation is between these three countries because of this, I think, in terms of more our similar economic development, where you can see, for example, Singapore maybe a bit more advanced than the other 3 countries.
But the
Ms. Kindau,
possibilities of the source of the leaking could also be from everywhere, yeah, including from the Singapore's, heavy moving of transport of ships.
for sure, Prof. I think that's the valid point. Yeah. Ms. Kindau, would you like to add in something or anything you like to add as well, based on a discussion with regards to the SOP or the joint protocol?
I agree with Miss from Malaysia that we should have protocol that we Thai, Malaysia, and Indonesia work together. I think quite good if support between country have accident, so we can comply to use together, right? And sometimes we need on-site, prefer on-site, sometimes more effective than online. If you have training course like that, so please. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kindau. I think that's a valid point. I think, yes, I think ultimately it's about capacity building. And of course, when you talk about these kind of programs, funding is a big challenge. I think I would have really liked our colleagues from the US, because, of their status, and maybe, I'm sure they do a lot of capacity building programs in the region, and it would have been great for them to be part of this discussion. So maybe we can, get some insights on what are the programs or capacity building that they provide. Okay. Yeah, I think we have some more questions, so I really want to. Okay, so we have a question here from Nazrin. In response to the tarball floating on the sea surface, equipment such as skimmer or dispersion is not effective. Could speakers share any experience how to clean up tarball on the sea surface? Anyone would like to respond to this in terms of how to clean up tarballs on the sea surface?
Okay, let me try.
Miss Kindau, please. Who is that? Miss Norina? Sorry, Miss Norina.
Okay, because the Indonesians, they're on the mic.
Can we, Secretariat, could you please mute whoever is not speaking?
Okay, right. I have not tried it, okay, but I can share what's the knowledge I have. I think if they're tarball, because it's semi-solid, so when it's semi-solid floating on the water, it's like we can use the fishing net. We can use the fishing net. That is another thing, but the size of fishing nets have to be really see what is the size of the tarball. So that may be the way of collecting it manually using a fishing net. Or maybe someone can share the other thing that it can be used to respond to the tarball on the water.
Can I add something on the tarball issues? Yes. I think sometimes we have to be careful with tarball. Once actually we think that we have already managed all the tarball coming into our coastal area, but then suddenly in one time that can also coming back because it's just moving like this. So sometimes we see that today tarball is coming in and then gone, and then some other day this. So we have to still anticipate it, the appearance of cargo in our coastal area.
Okay, thank you, Prof. Okay, maybe we move on to the next question. I think we have here from Sabda again. The question is, in your view, which area deserves greater priority within the IMT-GT framework, or spill response or tarball management? And what is the basis of your judgment? So which one is greater priority? Is it or spill response or tarball management? Anyone would like to respond to this?
Okay. Let me try. Okay, in terms of oil spill response, I think when it's actually come together, oil spill response and Tarball is the same. It's just that oil spill response can be Tarball or can be in the liquid form. So when you are talking about how to respond to oil spill, it already includes how to manage the Tarball response. I think that's the ideal of it. It's not like separate way of respond to the Tarball. I think maybe the question maybe how to the framework which priority maybe the question is what are the priority under the IMT-GT framework to actually to put which one is the priority. I think it's not talking about oil spill response or Tarball management. I don't know whether they can re-emphasize what the question really is.
Yeah, I think I don't know if the speaker would like to clarify, but based on the question, my understanding is which area should be more prioritized in the IMTGT framework.
Mm.
So is it Tarball management or is it oil spill? So I think that was the concern for a joint country coordination between IMTGT.
Yeah. So that's my answer just now. When you're talking about oil spill response, it's actually you are also includes the Tarball management. But if you put the priority, which priority under MGT that we want to propose, maybe the SOP is the first priority for our next way forwards.
Ms. Norina, Ms. Kinda or Prof, anything you'd like to add or any comments?
I cannot answer better than Ms. Norina. I think I agree with what Norina mentioned. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, so maybe I'll go to another question that we have. This is from Zurul Azmil bin Adam. Any plan to develop joint oil spill response SOP under IMTGT framework? Yeah, so maybe I can briefly explain that I think currently we don't have one under the IMTGT framework, but is there any plans to develop? This is something that the panel would like to respond to.
For Malaysia, we support that initiative. Though we have the SOP under RFC with Indonesia. However, if we have because RFC, as I mentioned, is only for vessel. What if the terminals, the platform? So whether we can still using that or we have to develop another SOP just to emphasize on other types of the spill, not only for the ship.
Also, Thailand support IMTGT. Thailand, especially Pollution Control Department. Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Kindau. Thank you, Ms. Norina. Prof, Edwin, what do you think? Is this something that should be pursued, or anything that we can use as a basis for this SOP? Sorry, you muted, Prof.
Yes, we agree. I think Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, yeah, should be sit together and develop this kind of the SOP. If we have agree on this, I think the delay maybe can be shortened. Yeah? So we agree upon something that we do together. And any initiative to move forward to this kind of thing, I think Indonesian government will support.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you for that. Any more questions from the audience? Maybe one more if there are any before we close the session. I see none. So I really like to express our appreciation to all.
Question. May I have
Yes.
question?
Yes,
When you
please.
have training, on-site training, when do you will? No, I'm kidding. But if you can provide, right? So I prefer.
Yes, Ms. Kila, that's a great question. Yeah, I think for us, CIMT, I mean, we are quite limited in terms of our resources. As you know, we also not just cover the environmental pillar, but we also cover 7 other sectors that we have to look into, transport, tourism, and so forth. So, of course, all these are important. Hence, I think the importance of us engaging with partners, which, for example, the US, which have a lot of capacity and resources that they wish to share. Maybe that could something that we can look into. Personally, I think the final takeaway I think was really good in terms of, I think there's a strong call for this development of SOP or protocol, particularly with regards to oil spill management. I see that perhaps that's like something that one require, doesn't have any financial commitment to it. Maybe that's something that we can implement practically, of course, in terms of the framework or the protocol. Of course, then they would require capacity building once you have, for example, the SOP developed, and that, of course, will require more engagement with potential partners. So maybe that could be something that the working group on environment would like to look at moving forward. I think that's something, in my view, is very practical, and maybe that is something that all 3 countries can benefit from coming from this webinar. Okay, so I think we've exhausted all the questions. Maybe before I end, maybe I'd like to invite all 3 speakers if you have anything that you would like to have the audience take away from today's session, or anything that you like to highlight before we close the webinar. So maybe I'll start with Prof. Edwan, if you have any final words for our webinar today, please.
So I think I would like to thanks again to the organizing committee. I think this is a very useful and very enlightful the webinar. We have the common interest in dealing with the oil spill and tarball in the area where we have a shared water in Thailand, Malaysia, and Indonesia, and we have to keep communicating on these issues, sharing knowledge and developing the common SOP. You agreed upon 3 countries, so then we can have some kind of the same guideline for the 3 countries. And by this, then we can also talking about the shared possibility about the cost. For example, we have the same classification, Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, even though the Thailand has some a little bit definition on that one, but at least we have already something in common. So we actually looking forward for the very close cooperation, communication on this issue in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Edwan. Ms. Norina?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Amri. So my takeaway on this is actually, I really hopes that under this platform, IMTGTs, that we be able to move forwards and to come out of the way any means to develop the SOP. I think that is very crucial because all the countries, Thailand, Indonesia, and Malaysia, really concerns on, especially on the mysterious spill that all of us facing. So we want to explore more collaborations to protect our marine, not for now, but for our next generations. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
At the last from Thailand, I am look forward to another cooperation from IMTGT. If you have any new technology to solving problem, and then or another kind of spill management or Tarball or in advance in this world, right? So could you please don't forget about Thailand to join. Thank you so much.
You, Ms. Kindau, for sure, we will think about Thailand as well as all the other two countries when we engage or like to move on this issue. Okay, with that, I think we've come to the end of our webinar session. I really like to thank everyone. First of all, I think we have the attendance is, I think I'm looking at the numbers. I think initially we had 300 over people. Okay, there's a applause. So then I think we had around 320 people just now. I think it shrink a bit. I think as we move towards lunchtime. So before I end, I'd like to express our sincere appreciation to all our three speakers. Yeah, Prof. Edwan, Ms. Norina, Kun Kingdao for their generous sharing. Of course, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment Thailand, which I think CIMT work closely with, as well as Ministry of Environment of Indonesia, as well as the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability of Malaysia. As well to everyone who joined with us today. I hope you've taken something away from this. I certainly have. I think there's a lot of good things I think I've learned today, and certainly look forward to your future engagement within the IMTGT framework. Thank you. Maybe I'll hand it over back to Alia, please.
All right. Thank you so much to Mr. Amri, Professor, Ms. Noraini, and also Ms. Kingdao. You guys have been amazing. Next, I would like to invite Mr. Jirapong Kohakarn, the Deputy Director General, to give his closing remarks. Please welcome.
Thank you ท่านผู้อำนวยการศูนย์ความร่วมมืออนุภูมิภาค IMTGT ท่านผู้มีเกียรติท่านวิทยากรรวมถึงผู้เข้ารับการสัมมนาทุกท่านครับบัดนี้การสัมมนาออนไลน์การจัดการคราบน้ำมันและก้อนน้ำมันดินการแลกเปลี่ยนประสบการณ์ในอนุภูมิภาค IMTGT ได้ดำเนินมาครบถ้วนสมบูรณ์แล้วการสัมมนาในวันนี้ได้รับฟังองค์ความรู้ที่มีคุณค่ายิ่งทั้งในด้านภาพรวมสถานการณ์ในภูมิภาคมิติด้านกฎหมายการบังคับใช้เครื่องมือทางเทคนิคตลอดจนประสบการณ์การดำเนินงานจริงจากประเทศต่างๆซึ่งล้วนเป็นประโยชน์ต่อการยกระดับความร่วมมือและการพัฒนาศักยภาพในการจัดการมลพิษของภูมิภาคในนามของผู้จัดการสัมมนาขอขอบคุณท่านวิทยากรซึ่งประกอบไปด้วยศาสตราจารย์เอ็ดวันคาเดนาจากอินโดนีเซียมิสนอรีนาเฟเดริกซัมบังจากมาเลเซียคุณกิ่งดาวอินทรักษ์จากกรมควบคุมมลพิษประเทศไทยและผู้เข้ารับการสัมมนาทุกท่านรวมทั้งสิ้น330ท่านที่กรุณาได้แบ่งปันความรู้ประสบการณ์อันทรงคุณค่ารวมถึงร่วมมีส่วนร่วมในการอภิปรายทุกท่านครับกรมควบคุมมลพิษหวังเป็นอย่างยิ่งว่าองค์ความรู้และข้อเสนอแนะที่ได้รับในวันนี้จะสามารถนำไปต่อยอดพัฒนาความร่วมมือที่เป็นรูปธรรมโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งการยกระดับกลไกการตอบสนองต่อเหตุการณ์มลพิษทางทะเลการขยายผลไปสู่การจัดการเหตุฉุกเฉินด้านสิ่งแวดล้อมในด้านอื่นต่อไปทั้งนี้กรมควบคุมมลพิษยังมีแผนในการขยายการดำเนินงานไปสู่การบริหารจัดการอุบัติภัยจากสารเคมีและเคมีภัณฑ์เพื่อเพิ่มขีดความสามารถของประเทศในการป้องกันและรับมือเหตุฉุกเฉินในด้านสิ่งแวดล้อมอย่างบูรณาการขอขอบคุณทุกท่านครับผมขอปิดการสัมมนาเพียงเท่านี้ครับfinally fairly conclusion I just to say cooperation to win together thank you
have a brief that dear Director CIMT and distinguished delegate representative for every country and organization that now we're successful conclusion according to this objective. So we will privilege high gain value on knowledge, insight, cover the overview, legal enforcement, technical tools, and the expertise. And now it's highly benefits training regional cooperation and capacity on the marine pollution. So pollution control department will further expand it into the management of the chemical hazard substance incident and aim to ensure the Thailand capacity prevention and response. Finally, we once again to express the sincere for all participants and thank you for CIMT for the declare that the webinar will be closed. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Mr. Jerapong and also Ms. Ratiwan for the closing remarks. So ladies and gentlemen, we have now finally come to an end of today's webinar. It's been an amazing 4 hours and I'm pretty sure everyone is excited to have lunch now. But a little close, we still have a little bit of closing remarks. So it was an incredible and fast-paced session. I mean, 4 hours is quite fast-paced for like this very full of insight webinar. So we hope this captured the idea of sub-regional cooperation at its absolute best. It shows that we are far more effective when we tackle these environmental challenges rather than acting on it alone. Together, we are stronger. So on behalf of the organizers, I would like to extend our sincere appreciation to all speakers, facilitators, and participants for your active participation and valuable contribution throughout today's session. With that, the IMTGT webinar on oil spill and Tarball management, sharing experiences and best practices officially comes to an end. Thank you once again, everyone. Stay safe and have a pleasant day ahead.